Welcome to the opening match of the kickoff making of the pre-show of Final Hunt 3, the biggest pay-per-view this company has ever done in the history of Lone Wolf Wrestling, and we are kicking off this pre-show with Zack Ryder and Deadpool, unfortunately. Two guys who I had issues with. Zack Ryder most because he just decided to go back to WWE and be a jobber again, even though I think he deserves better, and he deserves to be at least at the mid-card scene. Not this freaking crap of Danhausen. And if you like Danhausen, that's whatever. It's not. I like him too. There's some of the shit that he's doing lately is stupid. And here comes Deadpool. And he's still coming out here with these damn dancers, even though we keep telling him to knock it off with bringing them around. But he still keeps bringing them for whatever reason. He just doesn't like to listen to us. At all. And we're just completely giving up on trying to get him to listen. Because Deadpool just does whatever Deadpool wants. And this is why you're on the pre-show, Deadpool. Because you're an asshole that doesn't like to listen. And you're never around whenever we call you. It's like every time we try to get into contact with this guy, it's like he's always either busy or he's doing something supposedly, even though we find out he's not really doing anything. He's just being lazy. That's why Deadpool's on the pre-show. He hasn't been competing in a while because he just, for whatever reason, doesn't think he needs to show up to work. You know, he's still under contract, unfortunately. Hopefully Zack Ryder can beat this guy. See, it's one match that I honestly don't know who I want to root for. And to be completely honest, I'd rather just root for freaking Zack Ryder out of either one of these two men, because I cannot stand Deadpool. And let's get this opening pre-show match underway. Deadpool immediately on the offensive with punches. Zack Ryder blocks that one. Into the go-behind. Deadpool flips him over. And now Deadpool try to go for something there, but Zack Ryder reverses it into an arm drag, kind of. Now Deadpool and armbar and Zack Ryder. Stealing Sub-Zero's thing there, Deadpool, you freaking jack off. Drop kick by Zack Ryder. Both of these two are former hardcore champions, by the way. For anybody who might be curious if these two have done anything in this company. Like, that was like literally the biggest accomplishment Zack Ryder's ever done in this company. He's literally winning the hardcore title. Somehow winning a 6-man Armageddon Hell in a Cell match. Which I still am amazed to this day he managed to pull that off. Deadpool was hardcore champion after he defeated Damian Wolf for the title. Lifting neckbreaker there, by the way. And he held the title for 71 days. Probably one of the most irritating reigns of the hardcore championship's history. Thankfully, at least Jason beat him. And Deadpool nailing a drop kick to Zack Ryder there. Elbow drop. And Deadpool just punches Zack Ryder into the armbar. Zack Ryder versus it into a go-behind. And now Zack Ryder sending Deadpool into the corner. Now Zack Ryder kicked the midsection of Deadpool. No turnbuckle. Sunset flip! I thought he was going for a pin there almost. And now Deadpool with a drop kick. And Zack Ryder. And Zack Ryder just with a punch to the midsection of Deadpool. Into the headlock. And Zack Ryder with the suplex to Deadpool. Now Zack Ryder with a go-behind on Deadpool. Deadpool reverses it. Belly-to-back suplex. Shooting star press by Deadpool. Of all the people on this roster, why do you have to be one of the more freaking gifted when it comes to being athletic? Being able to pull off shooting star presses like that, just in the staying position. Now Deadpool trying to make Zack Ryder tap out with this weird submission. And Zack Ryder manages to hold on, even while he got his face slammed into the ring. And Deadpool getting sent in the corner by Zack Ryder. Watch out, ref. And Zack Ryder sending Deadpool in the opposite corner. Forearm in the face of Deadpool. And now Zack Ryder with an armbar on Deadpool. And a backbreaker shot at the Roderick Strong by Zack Ryder. Headlock by Zack Ryder on Deadpool. Doing a weird wrestling maneuver there. And Zack Ryder with a knee to the head of Deadpool. Into the face. Either one. Whichever one's more painful for this asshole. Deadpool with punches to Zack Ryder, knocking him to the ropes. And now Deadpool with a stun gun to Zack Ryder there. And now Deadpool dragging Zack Ryder away from the ropes. Oh God, stealing the people's elbow from The Rock. Check out that view of the arena, though. It's like an amazing Final Hunt 3 arena. And Deadpool with the people's elbow to Zack Ryder. Gunfuck covers Deadpool. Please, for the love of God, kick out Ryder. 2. And Deadpool gets the win over Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder, you freaking jobber, you suck ass. Letting this douche beat you. I swear, Zack Ryder, you disappoint me on so many levels sometimes. Deadpool pulls off the win, unfortunately, in this opening contest at the pre-show of Final Hunt 3. Now I'm never going to hear the end of it from him on social media. Next match, the triple threat match, to decide who will be the number one contender for the hardcore title at New Beginnings 4 between Duke Nukem, Android 13, and Link. One of those three is getting a hardcore title opportunity against whoever wins the hardcore gauntlet match later on the pay-per-view. Either way, fuck you, Deadpool. And this next contest is the number one contender match for a hardcore title. But one of these three is going to be facing whoever walks out of Final Hunt 3 as the hardcore champion of the hardcore title gauntlet match, which is happening on day 3, I believe. And here comes Duke Nukem. We have not seen Duke Nukem in a long time. Since he lost the intergalactic title, I believe. It's been a minute. I know Duke's been busy fighting aliens and protecting his Earth, but it's just like, it's crazy how long he's been away from this company. Now he finally was able to get Duke to come back. Him and Bandit Keith are usually supposed to be teaming together in a team called America F Yeah. And Bandit Keith is challenging Nova Star for the Internet Championship in night 2, I believe. 2 or 3, I believe. I forget. It's one of those two. I'm not liking Bandit Keith's chances because Nova Star is one of the toughest Internet champions we've ever had. And he's one of the best wrestlers we have on the roster. But Bandit Keith has pulled off miracles in the past. Looking at you when he won the Magnesium title against Bane and Cookie Monster that one time. We don't talk about that because that reign sucked. And here comes Android 13. Somebody else we haven't seen in a long time. Same with Link. All three of these guys looking to have a better year in this upcoming season than they have recently. Because we haven't seen any of these three, except for maybe like Link. We saw him like a couple times. And I believe he had a match with Prince of Persia to try and get an opportunity for the junior title. I know that much. Outside that, we haven't really seen Link in a minute. And we haven't seen Android 13 and Duke Nukem in forever. So, one of these three is hoping, like I said, actually have a better year than they usually do. And actually be having opportunity to win a title, potentially. Especially since Android 13, I believe, is a former XTW champion in the past. No, not XTW, but UCT champion in the past, but I might be wrong. Leave in the comments if anybody who's watched UCT in the past can remind me if he was UCT champion in the past. I believe he was, because I believe Jack 6 beat him for it. And here comes Link. Former Galactic champion, former Magnesium Blue champion, I believe, at one point. Former Tag Team champion, I think, with Captain Falcon. Remembers when that was a team. They beat Westeros for tag team titles. Actually, no, it wasn't Westeros. It was the Supremacy. It was Boom Bojack they beat for tag team titles, actually. Like, literally, it was like less than a month after they had won the tag titles from Scorpion and Sub-Zero. They beat them for the belts. This match is just going to be crazy, like I've said before. And let's get this triple threat match underway between these three. And Duke immediately getting double teamed by Android 13 and Link. And 13 with a go behind on Duke, while Link with a kick midsection and headlock. STO by both of them to Duke there. It's supposed to be every man for himself, but these two are already trying to take Duke out of the equation. Because all three of these guys want that hardcore title opportunity. Because even though it might just be the hardcore title has actually become one of the most prestigious belts in the company. There's been some pretty great reigns for that title. And some pretty great matches too. And one of these teams wants to try and etch their name to the history of that title. And be able to say they actually held the championship. Especially in 13 in Link's case, because they have never held a title since they first showed up in this company. Duke's a former champion. Like, that's not really saying much, he hasn't really been around in quite some time. All three of these guys want to try and have, like I said, want to try and reinvent prevent themselves, and also try to actually freaking have more opportunities. Okay, so in fact, all three of these guys have been freaking like busy or just been unavailable. And 13 just flying in with whatever the hell that was there, and just missing the forearm because Duke is running around the ring there, take down Link there. And he tried to slam Link's knee against the ring, and 13 just knocking down Duke. Missing the jumping clothesline again is 13. Link with the flipping him over there. Duke getting a rope break because he was too close to the ropes there. 13 with an armbar. And Duke with a shoulder tackle. And now Duke with a go behind on 13. Now Link and Duke teaming up on 13. Just repeatedly chopping 13's chest as Link. And now Link with an armbar on 13. And Duke and Link just double teaming 13 now. DDT to 13 by both of them. And Duke breaking up whatever Link trying to go for there. And again. Link just dragging 13 to the middle of the ring. At least he's trying to. Oh god, now Duke with just censored middle fingers and elbow drop to 13 there. And Link with just a punch at Duke and a headlock. And Duke with a Russian leg sweep. Now Duke trying to tell Link to get back up. And Duke balls of steel stunner to Link. And 13 with the SH0W bomber to Duke. Perfectly planned there for 13. 2, and Duke kicks out at 2. 13 tried to sneak in there and nail Duke with the SH0W bomber. And almost won the match there with that. After Duke took Link out with that freaking balls of steel stunner. That would have been huge, and probably would have been a 100 IQ play there by 13 if that had worked out. And Link breaking up that pin attempt by Duke. And now Link going for the Skyward Sword. His variation of the jackhammer. Has him up. And he nails the Skyward Sword on Duke. And Duke's right there by the ropes, breaking up the pin attempt. And now Duke sending Link into the corner. That's not appropriate there, Duke. You know, I'm all for flipping people off, especially half the people on this roster, but still, we still have to censor bleep it. At 13 with the alley-oop Samoan drop. And now 13 just punching the shit out of Duke's head there. Forearm to face to Duke there by Link, and 13 missing his own there. Springboard by Link, which he nailed both of them there. Good job there, Link. Link going for a cover. 1, 2, and 13 breaks up the pin attempt there. Jumping clothesline there by 13. Duke trying to steal a pin, and 13 breaks it up again. Duke, balls of steel stunner to 13. Now Link turning Duke around, sends him into an elbow to the face. Drop kick by Link there to 13, dazing him. And Link with a suplex to 13. Going for the cocky pin, but 13's foot was by the ropes. That's what you get for trying to be cocky, Link. You're supposed to be a hero. And now Duke and 13 with a DDT to Link. And now Duke dragging Link to the middle of the ring. Going for cover is Duke. And 13 breaks up immediately. And now 13 going for another SH0W bomber, and he nails it. Link trying to steal the pin. 1, 2, and 13 breaks it up. Duke getting dumped to the outside. And Link suplexing Duke back in the ring. Link going for a cover again on Duke. 1, and 13 breaks it up. Now 13 repeated shots to the lower back of Link. Jumping clothesline by 13 there to Duke. Going for cover is 13. 1, 2, 13 is the number one contender for the hardcore title. And all it took was multiple leaping clothesline there, and just that one leaping clothesline out of nowhere, nailing Duke after he took out Link, after repeatedly punching him in the back. And 13 now has a hardcore title opportunity final at New Beginnings 3. I almost said Final Hunt 3. That's the pay-per-view that this pre-show is part of. Either way, 13 with a huge win. And sending a statement to everybody who's in that hardcore title gauntlet match into a battle royal. We're still deciding what it's going to be. This is who they have to look forward to. somebody who is hungry and is making his triumphant comeback after being gone for like months. The next match is a Money in the Bank ladder match for the main roster. One of this randomly selected by GM Paul Phoenix, 6 guys is competing for a shot they can cash in anytime, anywhere for the world title. God help us, whoever is in that match. And this is the Money in the Bank match for the main roster. And here comes Kevin Steen, who's the first one to come out here. This is Kevin Steen's first Final Hunt, I believe. First or second, because I believe he might have been at Final Hunt 2. I don't remember exactly. But this is probably the biggest opportunity he's had. And Steen is riding a wave of momentum because thanks to help from Paul Phoenix, he has a pinfall win over the current global champion Xavier King. It's probably something we're going to come back to at a later date. I believe he has like 2 pinfall wins now because Kevin Steen actually, I think, beat Xavier during the 3-year anniversary special. Whoever it was that he beat for that on that special. I don't even remember if he was even on that special or if he had a match with Xavier King. All I know is that I know he had a match with Xavier recently, and Steen beat him thanks to Paul Phoenix. Actually, no, he lost to Xavier. So that's what actually happens. My bad, thinking I'm getting things confused. That's my bad. Maybe he was on that anniversary special, and Xavier's lost him on that show, and then Xavier's beat him on that other match recently. And then when Steen was offered a handshake by Xavier after the match, Steen went and low-blowed Xavier. Just like a freaking sore loser douche that he is. And here comes A.A. Omega, former U.S. champion in his own right, just like Kevin Steen, and former Intercontinental champion. We haven't seen since he lost the Intercontinental champion match that he had with Yusuke a while back. Mostly because I haven't seen Omega because he's been busy over in the AWF. He was former 2-time champion, by the way. And now Omega's back and looking to win the Money in the Bank briefcase and a shot to become world champion in Lone Wolf Wrestling. Which would be insane if that happens. Be insane regardless whoever wins this match, because it'll be the biggest opportunity any of them have, because they have an opportunity anytime, anywhere, become world champion potentially. And out of all these guys, I really hope that this guy isn't the one that wins, because fuck you, Austin Aries, you arrogant prick. No one knows. It's probably would be weird for Aries and Kevin Steen to be in the same match together if their group was still a thing, but thankfully, thanks to AJ Styles, Aries and Kevin Steen told Jacob Cassidy to take a hike and eat rocks, and they both, all 3 of them, beat the shit out of him. And basically, they disbanded the Reckoning, which was Jacob Cassidy's group of goons that backed him up anytime he needed help. Now Cassidy's pretty much on his own, and Cassidy's taking on AJ night 2, which is the first half of the main roster part of the Final Hunt pay-per-view. That's a match I'm looking forward to, because that's a match that also has a world title opportunity on the line. Multiple people are going to have world title opportunities after this pay-per-view. It's going to be crazy. The world title scene this upcoming year is going to be crazy, because you have whoever is Money in the Bank winner. You're going to have whoever potentially Darkseid if he manages to beat Virgil King, which I pray to God doesn't happen. You'll have either AJ or Cassidy. There's going to be freaking so many people that has an opportunity to become world champion this year. Whoever walks out the world champion after the main event, this pay-per-view, be it Jesus, Jack Six, or Damien King, you're going to have their, I better have eyes in the back of their head, because there's going to be like 3 people gunning for their asses. And here comes Cookie Monster, former hardcore and former intergalactic champion in his own right, and also a former tag team champion in TAW. And the list of things he's won in Mag Nation back in the day is extensive. Let's just say that. Dude's one of the best there is in this company. And I'm still disappointed in him in the fact that he works alongside the Unwashed. Like, the dude is one of the best wrestlers we have. And I know for a fact he's somebody I could see as a world champion. But the fact that he's teaming up with these unwashed douchebags is still questionable, in my opinion. Who the hell knows why Cookie Monster's doing this? But it's worked out for him in a way, because like I said, he's held titles since he's been a part of the group. Granted, they with the Intergalactic and Hardcore title. And I'm not besmirching either of those titles, because some of the people who've held both those titles have been pretty great with talent. And some of the reigns have been pretty great too. Just been crazy. And here comes Redneck Jay, because I recognize this entrance. This is one of those entrances that I recognize. And oh, Jesus Christ, Jay's brought the ATV back. I haven't seen Jay since him and Zeke are forced to have to break up as a team for an entire year after they lost the tag team title match against Roadhouse Soldiers. Now Jay's basically going to be a singles wrestler for the next year. So, from what I've been told, Zeke basically is staying at home. And Zeke is just going to do his own thing at home. Well, Jay's basically going to be the only one of their team wrestling. Which, honestly, I do not blame him, because Jay doesn't need the distraction of Zeke just wandering around without him by his side in the arena. Because Zeke is a big, lovable goof. And Jay's the only one that keeps him out of trouble. So it's probably safe and better for everybody that Zeke stays at home. At least until they can challenge for the tag titles again. Then Zeke will probably come back, which would probably be nice. Meanwhile, Jay will be able to have a singles run of his own. And Jay's probably one of the best wrestlers, like I've said, about other people in this roster. So I could see big things for him. Who the hell is this? It's not Randy Orton, I know that much. Oh my god, when the fuck was the last time we seen this guy? We haven't seen him in years, since the Magnation days. Freaking, there's no way. There's no way it's this guy. Boba Fett! When the fuck was the last time anybody seen Boba Fett in a wrestling ring? This is the guy Paul Phoenix brought in to replace Kenny Omega, who was supposed to be in this Money in the Bank match, apparently. No one has seen Boba Fett in a wrestling capacity in years. And now he's here. In apparently a new attire. Boba Fett was one of the best wrestlers when it came to winning battle royals back in the Magnation. And he always would come up short challenging for the title. Either getting taken out by somebody, pollution, or he would just get beaten by people whenever he challenged for the title. Just crazy. Now Boba Fett's working here, apparently. Of all the people that Paul Phoenix has signed this company, this is probably one of the bigger ones. Boba motherfucking Fett. Lord Almighty help us. This is going to be interesting to see how much ring rust he has, if he has any at all. And let's get this Money in the Bank ladder match underway. And Boba Fett immediately suplexing Kevin Steen while Omega just nailing and missing a drop kick. And Aries an atomic drop to Omega. Now Boba Fett going the outside, then getting another ladder and climbing the ladder for reasons, just getting knocked down by Kevin Steen. And Jay was smart and brought the other ladder into the ring already. And getting nailed with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker is Jay by Omega there. Omega, probably the smartest person in this match, already trying to go up top. Now, you guys might want to stop him. And Omega is working on pulling down the belt, and Jay manages to cut him off. And it took everybody a minute to finally realize that Omega was trying to grab the briefcase. And Boba Fett is still getting beaten up by Kevin Steen on the outside. But Aries is going at it with Cookie Monster. And Omega is going at it with Jay. Hurricane to Jay there by Omega. And Aries has the ladder now. And Aries tried to nail Omega with the ladder. Now Cookie Monster is taking the ladder from Aries. Nailing Aries in the face with the ladder. He deserves that. And Steen whipping Boba Fett into the ring and nailing him with a boot to the face. And now Boba Fett has the ladder. Oh god. Now Kevin Steen knocking the ladder down while Cookie Monster was just starting to climb the ladder there. And now Aries and Boba Fett going at it, while Jay and Omega are still going at it. And Kevin Steen just got belly to back suplexed by Cookie Monster. Shoulder tackle by Jay and Omega. Misses the Enziguri as Cookie Monster there. Steen has the ladder again. And now Aries has the ladder. What the hell was Jay just doing then? Boba Fett just ate that ladder right through his helmet. And Aries with a shot to the legs of Aries with that ladder. And Cookie Monster missing the knee drop. Twice. And Steen has a ladder again. And Aries and Boba going at it. Now Boba Fett knocking down the ladder, nailing Aries in the face, kind of. Tilt-a-whirl backbreaker by Steen, kind of there. And Omega and Jay are still going at it. And Aries nailing Boba Fett. Luther's press by Boba Fett and Aries. And Boba Fett tried to nail Aries with that ladder, but it got taken away from him. Aries nailing Boba with that ladder. Oh god. Aries setting up the ladder. And now Aries is climbing the ladder. Oh God, please somebody stop him. Cookie Monster. Oh, thank God. Thank you, Cookie Monster, for stopping him. Freaking moonsault. What the hell that was? Aries. I mean, Omega just did there. Jay. Kevin Steen going for the briefcase. Now he's just dangling Cookie Monster with an electric chair at Kevin Steen. I almost thought Kevin Steen was going to win there for a minute. And now everybody's just brawling. And Boba Fett grinding his foot against Omega there. And Cookie Monster has Steen up with a go to street. And now Boba Fett setting up the ladder. Jay setting up the other ladder. Oh God, don't tell me we're going to have an edgy Jeff Hardy spot here. That would be insane, but I doubt that's going to happen. Jay's stuck, apparently. And now Cookie Monster and Steen. Well, Cookie Monster nailing Steen with the ladder, and Jay nailing Cookie Monster. And the other ladder got sent flying outside of the ring. And now Jay has the ladder set up just out of position underneath that briefcase. Colin elbow tap between Boba and Aries there on the right side. Reverse DDT by Omega and Kevin Steen there. One of these 6 guys is going to end up pulling down that briefcase. But they are not making it easy for anybody in this match. Jay's dazed. Kevin Steen just nailing Omega with a drop kick. Brainbuster to Cookie Monster there by Aries. Boba's running around on the steel steps. Jay has a ladder. And now Aries is going for the briefcase again. Oh, thank God, Kevin Steen. Stopping your former partner from pulling on the briefcase. Thank God. And Aries getting cracked in the back of the head with that briefcase. I mean, ladder. I almost said briefcase. I don't know why I said that. And now everybody's back to me. Freaking Slave 1 cut in by Boba Fett there. Jay just tossing Cookie Monster there. German suplex to Aries by Kevin Steen. Boba setting the ladder up. Kevin Steen, what the hell are you doing, dude? Boba Fett's going up top. Boba has the briefcase and Cookie Monster pulls him down. Brainbuster there by Jay to Aries, I think. Oh, that was suplex. Misses the drop kick or whatever the hell Cookie Monster was doing there. Omega knocking down that other ladder. Cookie Monster going up for the briefcase and stops. Jay's going for the briefcase now. And Jay pulls down the briefcase! Because Cookie Monster was freaking holding his head there and for whatever reason didn't try to even bother to try and stop him there. I don't know what the hell Cookie Monster was doing there. But Redneck Jay, in his first match back, since him and Zeke lost to the Roadhouse Soldiers and had to break up as a tag team, Jay is now holding Mr. Money in the Bank briefcase. And Jay has an opportunity. He can become a world champion anytime, anywhere, if he decides to cash that in. Yeah, if I was the people in the world title match in the main event of night 3, I would definitely be looking over my shoulder from here on out. Because Jay could turn that in anytime he freaking wants. It's crazy. The next match is the main event of this pre-show where Kenny Omega takes on Sagat. It's going to be crazy. And this is the main event of the pre-show of Final Hunt 3. And here comes Kenny Omega, the best bout machine, who has apparently dyed his hair back to how it was when he was a cleaner back in New Japan back in the day. And he's changed up his attire a bit. Kind of like this new attire. Kenny Omega is in this match against Sagat because Paul Phoenix was pissed at him for helping Xavier's Kingdom when Sagat was trying to take Xavier's out, so he wouldn't be able to compete in this match with Paul Phoenix on this pay-per-view. And so he made this match, and if Kenny can somehow beat Sagat, and this is Sagat's second match in LWW since he just showed up out of nowhere, as apparently Paul Phoenix has hired muscle and hired assassin. If Kenny can win this match, he'll get an opportunity to the global title that Xavier or Paul Phoenix will be holding it after the Final Hunt 3 is over with at the next episode of Underground in the main event of that show. Probably one of the biggest matches Kenny Omega has ever had in this company. Like I said, I actually kind of like this new attire. And I like how Kenny changed up his hairstyle too, because that poofy hair was kind of weird. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see if this new and improved Kenny Omega can stand up against Sagat, one of the most dominant CIW World Heavyweight Champions CIW ever had. Only losing that title to Sephiroth, who then lost it to Majin Buu. Hopefully, eventually, Sephiroth will get that title back. But at least he's TAW champion, at least. And here comes Sagat, who I'm amazed isn't coming out here with Homelander and Paul Phoenix. But I guess Sagat is like, I want to do this on my own. I did things on my own most of the time, if not almost all the time in CAW. I want to prove that I can do it here. At least Sagat is at least somewhat honorable. The fact that he makes it known when he doesn't and does need help. Most of the time, he usually doesn't need help. He just beats the hell out of people. Just destroys them in the ring. But on the occasion, he'll call upon help from one of his buddies. But I don't think he's going to in this case. Who the hell knows? We'll have to wait and see. All I know is that I wish Kenny Omega luck with this guy. Because this guy scares me. Still can't believe he beat Xavier's King in his debut match. And let's get this match underway between these two. Carnival time between the two. Sean McCarty's going to be happy somewhere if he sees this. And Kenny with an armbar on Sagat. And now Kenny with a kick to the arm of Sagat and a shot to the arm of Sagat there. And Sagat blocking that punch there and nails one to Kenny into the armbar on his own. And Sagat sending Kenny in the corner. Kick to Kenny there in the corner. Now Sagat just grinding his knee against Kenny's face. Just look at freaking Sagat. He towers over Kenny, not just size, but just everything. Kenny's going to be in for a fight of his life against Sagat here. Sagat just beating the hell out of Kenny there. And Sagat just hurling Kenny into the ropes. Jesus Christ. Sagat does not give any shits if he hurts people. He just loves destroying people in the ring. Especially if he's getting paid. Now Kenny with the Snapdragon suplex. There's Sagat. And Sagat just right back up. And Kenny with a headlock. And Kenny V-trigger! And or just lifting knee. And now Kenny with punches there. Sagat blocks that one. Now responds with his own punches and misses a clothesline. And Sagat with just more punches to Kenny there and knocks him down to that one. And Sagat with just more hard punches with Kenny. And Kenny with a headlock punches him down. And Kenny missing that elbow drop. Clothesline by Sagat there, taking down Kenny Omega. And now Sagat just beating the shit out of Kenny with these punches. And Sagat nailing whatever that was to Kenny there into the headlock. That huge strike there, knocking down Kenny Omega. And Kenny's a former and longest reigning global champion in this company. And Sagat was just a huge shot to the back of Kenny there. And another one. Kenny has health problems, so the last thing I need is him getting taken out by those strikes. And Sagat with a belly-to-belly suplex to Kenny. Now Sagat keeps running into Kenny there. Big boot to Kenny there. Jesus. Only one count there. Thankfully, at least Sagat doesn't do the big boot carousel like he does in CAW. That would just be insane. And fourth wall break mostly because I have no idea how to make that as a custom finisher and or signature in this game. Just saying, if anybody else is wondering. But Kenny with a go behind Sagat there. Turns him around. Sends him into the corner. Shot to the back of Sagat there by Kenny. And Kenny sends him into the post. Now Kenny just grinding his boot against Sagat's face. Now Kenny picking up Sagat, just punches him off. Blocks a kick there as Kenny, trips him up. Misses the elbow drop there. And Kenny with another punch at Sagat there, and Sagat with a headlock on Kenny. And lifts him up, just slams him down, just without any effort. And Kenny's a full-grown man. Sagat just throws him around like he's a ragdoll, and Sagat does more punches to the head of Kenny. And now Kenny's pissed. And Sagat just another punch to Kenny there. Sends him in the corner. And Sagat sets him on the top turnbuckle. Oh god. And Sagat has Kenny on the top turnbuckle. Oh Jesus. Double underhook suplex on the top turnbuckle there by Sagat. Stomp to the arm of Kenny there by Sagat as well. Going for a cover, Sagat. Only have one count there somehow. Punch to face again by Sagat. Sends him into the corner again. Shot to the midsection of Kenny there by Sagat there. And a decapitating clothesline taking down the best bout machine. And now Sagat picking Kenny back up. Another big boot to Kenny by Sagat there. 1, 2, and Sagat gets the win over Kenny with a big boot. And Sagat will challenge either Paul Phoenix or Xavier King for the global title next episode of Underground in the main event. And Sagat is now 2-0 in singles competition in Lone Wolf Wrestling. Sagat is just on a path of destruction, and he literally hasn't even been here for very long, and he's already showing his dominance here, just like he did in SH0W. Jesus Christ. I wish everybody in this company like trying to beat this guy. Because it took a lot for Sephiroth just to be able to beat him. It took everything he had to beat him, for crying out loud. And his ridiculous, freaking OP health bar, let's just say that. But either way, if you like this video, leave a like, comment, all that stuff. Season Day 1 of Final Hunt 3, which will be the new gen portion. And that'll be up probably the following day after this one goes live. Anyway, I'll see you guys then. Peace! And have a good night. Stay safe.